Sunday, November 21st is here, and I'm back per usual for my best bets in the NBA. We got 3 player props and a spread pick coming your guys' way. But first, let's recap Saturday's video because, man, we almost brought those brooms out. A 4-in-1 day. Tyrese Maxey over 26.5 PRAs. Didn't even have to sweat that. I believe he hit it in points alone. Bradley Beal over 9.5 rebounds and assists. Yeah, the man gets 9 assists as a whole and 4 rebounds, man. Easy cash. The home Hawks covering their spread, -6. Never a doubt against the Hornets. And then the Pacers. Of all teams, the Pacers, I drew my line in the sand. I said, Pacers, I need this win for you. And they cover, -7.5. You didn't really have to sweat that game either. Only loss of the day, Julius Randle's under an assist. Man, we wanted to bring those brooms out once again, but we couldn't do it. Let's keep it going. Subscribe to the Call on our Shot channel if you guys are new. We're doing these NBA Best Bets videos every single day. And if you're interested, my parlays and player props video for the NFL Week 11 is live. I'll link it down below in the description and in the pinned comment section down below. We've been 7-1 on player props in that video over the last 2 weeks. Let's get it going. Drop a like, final day of the weekend, and drop your best bet down below. A longtime supporter of the COS channel, T Bean. He said verbatim, you may want to double back and take Sabonis points after his game yesterday. Think he should bounce back with 20 plus. Yeah, of course, Sabonis scores 20 plus points yesterday after he failed as a best bet. Now, we won't have a best bet today because the slate, we only got 5 games on the slate, but I did find some good props I like. And let's get into my first one, Spicy P. Pascal Siakam. It pains me to do this. Under 19.5 points, -110 on DraftKings. Now, Siakam, he has returned from an injury that held him out the first couple weeks of the season, and he's looked decent. He's not necessarily been Pascal Siakam of the NBA Finals or previous years, but here's his game log over the 6 games he has played. He scored 32, 4, 20, 8, and 15 points. So, I think I got all 24. 32, 4, 20, 25, 8, and 15. So he's cleared this in 3 of the 6 games so far this season, but all 3 that he's cleared have been against pretty below average defenses. It's been Portland, Sacramento, and Detroit. Aren't necessarily known for playing good defense. Now the 3 teams that he hasn't hit the over, he scored 4 against Utah, 8 against the Celtics, and 15 versus the Nets. Teams that match up much better against him, and teams that are actually good at defense. Now today, takes on the Warriors, who are the #1 defensive rated team, and they should be getting everyone back into their lineup this weekend or in Sunday's game. Now they should be and besides Otto Porter Jr., not sure about, or Andre Iguodala is the one I know is for sure out. We'll see about Otto Porter Jr., but everyone else should be back. Andrew Wiggins is there, Draymond Green, Stephen Curry, the whole slate guys are all back. Now, the Siakam, he's not shooting a ton. He's not necessarily a guy like, I don't know, Reggie Jackson that's shooting 17, 18 shots. This guy's averaging around 12 to 14 shots in the game. And the games that he's hit is over. He shot 83% from the field, 64, and 46.7% from the field. Just that 46.7, he shot 15 attempts. But opponents shoot just 42.2% from the field against the Warriors, by far the lowest in the league. And we still don't know necessarily if OG Anunoby will be playing, and if he does, icing on the cake. It will help us. It will take some shot attempts away from Siakam. Either way, I'm not counting on OG to play, but the Warriors should do a good job to stop him. I don't expect Siakam to necessarily be shooting a ton like he normally, might have done in previous seasons. He's still working his way back from an injury, so I'll take Spicy P's under as he works his way back to his full complement of minutes. Moving on to another one, you'll see we don't have a line. We're taking Cade Cunningham. We're taking his over in PRAs. Now, like I said, you see, I don't have a line for this one, but let me talk about this because I think this will be a very good play today. Now, and I'll pin it once we have a line, I'll pin it down below because we don't have any lines for this Pistons-Lakers games as there's still a bunch of different injury news. But if you guys see the line before I pin it down below, let me know so we can kind of get together and collaborate on this one. But for starters, Killian Hayes, the fellow kind of point guard, shooting guard that starts for the Pistons. He could be out today. He is questionable with I believe a thumb or a hand injury. So that'll help the ball go into Cade's hands more. But that's not what I'm concerned about. Cade really playing well over the last 3 games. He's put up 19.6 rebounds and 6 assists in the last one, 31 PRAs, 16, 8, and 6 for another 30, and then 25, 8, and 8, 41 PRAs over his last 3 games. So his line has been hovering around like 23.5 to 26.5. Hopefully we can keep that line around 26.5. I'd love, if it's 26.5, we're hammering it. But there's 2 key points. Now you look at Cade Cunningham's game log. Where has he played well? At home. Where has he not played terrifically very well? On the road. Well, good thing because he's at home again today against the Lakers, and that's point number 2. They're taking on the Lakers, and we've talked about them time and time again. They're letting opposing point guards just have field days on them. They're out giving up the 4th most points per game, 25.57. the most rebounds per game, 8.32, and the second most assists per game, 9.95, all to opposing point guards. They've been letting point guards have a field day, like I said, against them, and I think we'll see that in Cade in his position. That's what he is, a point guard. Should again fill up the stat sheet against the Lakers. And younger players, for whatever reason, they seem to be fascinated by LeBron James, and this will be his first ever career game against LeBron. So they always seem to show up, and they'll probably shoot even more. They want to get his pat on the back at the end of the game. I don't know. So he's going to be firing up shots left and right. We'll ride with Cade Cunningham. I'd like it up to under 27.5. That line is good. If we go a little bit higher, we'll see. We'll pin it down below in the comments. Hopefully it's a pretty good line for us once we get it. Now, my last player prop of the video before we get into a one spread pick, Paul George, over 37.5 PRAs, minus 120 on DraftKings. Now, this also line is playable at 38.5, and this is an early game. It's at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. Again, they're taking on the Mavericks. Now, Paul George, let's say, call a spade a spade. You put up a couple sinkers recently. You went 8 for 26 last game, scoring 19 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. The game before, just 23 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Both games on the road, but today they're back at home against the Mavericks. And we still don't know necessarily if Luka Doncic is playing. He might return today, but George, I think he's bouncing back today. He's averaging 26.3 points per game, 7.9 rebounds per game, and 5.2 assists per game for 39.4 PRAs. Now, he's due that bounce back because they're back at home in Staples Center, soon to be named Crypto.com Center, I believe, whatever the heck that name is. But Paul George, in his career, he's had some solid success against the Mavericks when he's getting up his shot attempts, and Paul George, he's getting up his shot attempts this year, averaging 21.9 attempts per game. And, he's been not only scoring, but he's also been facilitating. He's averaging 10.1 assist chances per game, 13.2 rebound chances. I like it all together. Hopefully he can get it going on Sunday afternoon. And hopefully we can start off the night with a win. Yesterday, Julius Randle sold us, so we had to start off with a loss, but then we rattled off 4 straight winners. Hopefully we can start off 1-0. Now, also, last note, Eric Bledsoe, you can take his under, but I want to be concerned to those people that just hammer his under every night. He does play much better at home. You can check his game log. He does much better at home for whatever reason. I was going to hammer it here, but he's been looking pretty decent at home. So hopefully he goes under just for the COS stands, but still, consider it for Eric Bledsoe, but probably wouldn't take it. Now, one spread today, we're riding with the Warriors, minus 7.5 versus the Raptors. Now, the last time these two teams played, I believe it was last April, and it was a beatdown, 130-77. The Raptors just absolutely smoked them. And now, granted, and I remember all the memes that came on. You just posted screenshots of the scores, the box score, and you were like, what the heck's this? Yeah, Draymond Green, Stephen Curry were both not active. That was also on the road for the Warriors last season. They got absolutely blitzed. Now, today, they're back at home where they've been absolutely dominant this year. They're 6-2-1 against the spread. At home, the 5th best in the league. Now, let's flip to the other side of the coin. Raptors, they are a very up and down team, but on the road they've been pretty solid. They're 6-3 against the spread on the road, 5th best in the NBA. But looking at their game log, it's normally they're beaten or covering against teams they really should cover against, and then they're losing pretty badly to other teams that they really aren't in that class. Now the Raptors, I would assume, are kind of like an 8, 9, 10, kind of a play-in seed in my opinion. They're not necessarily the best team in the NBA, where the Warriors are kind of looking like that. They're also not the worst team in the NBA, but like that was shown, they lost by 16 to the Jazz a couple nights ago. But prior to the Warriors going on the road trip, like I said, they've been dominant at home. Prior to going on the road trip, won 7 straight home games. And here's by how much. They won, here's the game log. 26, 13, 14, 13, 41, 22, and 21 points. They easily cleared this. The lowest amount of points they won by at home was 13 points. That was against some good teams like the Bulls and even the Hawks, who we know are bad on the road. But still, it was against some good, solid competition. The Raptors, like I said, a very streaky team. You just never know what you're going to get out of them. And the Warriors don't play again until Wednesday, so I think they'll maybe want to come out, put on a show on this Sunday kind of evening, and they might look to get a little bit of revenge after that NBA Finals loss a couple years back to this Raptors squad, which still has a couple players from it, Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam. So I think they'll get after it. I think the Warriors win in a big way, so I'll be riding with the Warriors minus 7.5. That's the only spread pick. A couple others I did consider, but the slate's not great. No reason to force a play. We'll only have 4 plays today, depending on that Cade Cunningham line. If they make it like 33.5, I'm not taking it. But if it's a low enough line we like, I'll pin it down below in the comments. So make sure you check out that. Also, check out the 2 NFL videos that are popping up on the screen. They're must watches. It's gonna have a good NFL day too. A lot going on in the sports world. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'll catch you guys again Monday morning. We're gonna get after it for a new week. Peace.